Welcome, everybody. This is the Rotary Club of Silicon Valley, and every week we bring you the stories of people who are improving the world around them. We are part of Rotary International. This is 1.2 million people in 36,000 clubs around the world dedicated to the idea of service above self. Rotary is an organization where people pool their time, talent, and treasure in order to improve the lives of others, to help those in need, to really take their time to experience the joy and meaning that comes from serving. And so we're excited to talk about the stories of those who do exactly that through their perspectives, their initiatives, and sometimes through their Rotary clubs, which is what we're doing today. Our speaker today is Dino. Dino is part of the Rotary Club of Cupertino. We have featured a project from the Rotary Club of Cupertino before because it's an amazing club. Lots and lots of great projects. They do all kinds of great work. And Dino is a retired aerospace engineer. He is the guy leading a an initiative in a project related to what's going on in and I'm going to let you pronounce the name of the biosphere in South Africa, the Magaliesberg,
Magaliesberg.
uh, as you say. All right, perfect. And we're really excited to have him tell us this story about the good thing that the Rotary Club of Cupertino is involved in. So with that, I will hand it over to Dino. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Silicon Valley.
Thank you for having me. So I am a Rotarian that am sponsoring this initiative. It's a project in South Africa, as you mentioned earlier. It's a global grant, and I'm in the funding phase. Basically, this project will take place in Magaliesberg. Where's Magaliesberg, you ask? Well, that is in South Africa, where this little dot is on this arrow. It's basically what's called a biosphere reserve, which is a reserve in all sense of the word, but it's also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's 3,600 kilometers and 1,400 square miles. This project came about when we were in South Africa on a different Rotary trip. I don't know if you recall the Study Buddy or Desmond Two desks. We were given those out at various schools, and they happened to go to a couple of Rotary projects in this reserve, and I met a couple of people that have got some exciting ideas on how to preserve the preserve reserve. So the Magaliesberg Biosphere Reserve is a very special place. It's very special because there is a lot of diversity of animals. There are 90 indigenous mammal species, over 440 bird species, and the geography includes slopes, cliffs, crests, rivers, wetlands, and valleys. So it's got all kinds of diversity of areas. The population in the general area is about 550,000. And the people that live in the area is about 200,000 people actually live in the reserve conservancies and areas. The economy is a major part of this presentation because the economy has four major sections. Basically, it's composed of tourism, agriculture, mining, and other services, let's say. So tourism is by the largest employer in this region. It's basically a popular weekend getaway for people in Johannesburg. It's known for its natural beauty, outdoor activities. A lot of this includes ecotourism, hospitality, adventure activities, heritage sites like the Cradle of Mankind. So, and there are also, if you look at the lower right, there are over 100 accommodation venues catering to tourists seeking relaxation and adventure. So people come for the day, they hike, people come and stay for the weekends. It's a very popular place, and it's growing. The other three major areas of the environment are agriculture. Agriculture exists of local small farming and large farming, mining, which is platinum, basic platinum, and some other and gold, and then other services. The other sectors of this economy are not growing right now. They're about stable. In fact, mining is declining due to automation that's being used in the site. So tourism, Magaliesberg area has a potential for growth, and especially if tourism and agriculture are developed sustainably, which works out for me because I'm a conservationist. So the problem is that the way of life and this environment is under threat. Uh, there's a small minority of people are engaged in illegal poaching, so they're using these traps. They're called referred to as snares, but it's basically a loop that's tied to a tree, usually typically cut from barbed wire or local wire that they find in the from fences. The animal gets stuck in it. It works its way to try to get free. In the meantime, it's getting hurt. And if you notice, the leopard has a cut on its neck. This rhinoceros, which is a huge animal, the metal is stuck around its neck, etc. And so the snares not only killed targeted animals, but also severe injure and severe other non-targeted animals. And it threatens the whole ecosystem because once you start removing species from the ecosystem, you can have a collapse. And so when you think about it, people come here to enjoy the wildlife, and there's a small minority of people that are engaged in activities which are threatening that. So our solution is education and action on the ground. So basically what we're going to do is we have MOUs with 5 local high schools and several community groups, and we're going to go through and train the teachers to train the students about the importance of conservation, both for the environment and for people's livelihoods in the area. So the schools have agreed to update their curriculums so that once our project is complete, the education will continue on for till perpetuity. And then we have actions on the ground, we call it. Basically, we'll train 5 leaders, eco rangers, to go out to the field once a week and remove snares, tag them, and then revisit the hot spots to confirm that the snares are not going back into place. Now, this is not a new idea. This idea has been employed for a while. Basically, if you look at the lower right, left, there's basically snare drives, they call them. They're a little bit like when we do creek cleanups or park cleanups, etc. They go through where they sweep an area for snares. But what we found is that in order to be successful in the long term, you really need a dedicated team to go out persistently, weekly, and go to the same area. So we need a dedicated team. We need to geolocate the snares and then revisit the hotspots and then do regular patrols over 24 months. Excuse me. Let's see. So next chart is our partners are 2 conservation leaders in the area. So one is a Rotary Club of Brits Hartbeespoort. They have several really cool initiatives. One is a feral cat rescue project. Another is a blue crane educational and conservation project. They have a vulture feeding and conservation project where they actually feed vultures, and then people that are interested go into a hide and they can watch the vultures feed, and they learn about vulture physiology and conservation and how they're endangered and whatnot. And so for a small fee, they can keep the project going forever. It's a very cool project. This club's also involved with water conservation, testing of waterway cleanups, and of course the snare removal drives I talked to you about. So they've been in place since 1960, quite a while. Not as long as WESA, the Wildlife Society of South Africa. They are a nonprofit that was founded in 1926. It has a long history of championing South Africa's natural heritage, and they'll provide the subject matter experts, teachers, etc. There are a number of PhDs in the program in the club, and they'll also train our eco rangers, support our eco rangers in the field, maintain the equipment, and keep the project going. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Excellent, Dino. Thank you very much. I'll tell you what we'll do as you're doing the stop share. I'm going to introduce the set of people who have joined the recording. So if your camera's on, wave. If not, well, we just know you're waving, and that's fine. So from our club in Houston, Texas, Rory, thank you for being here and being such a like a a wonderful encourager of our club in terms of your participation in these. Same goes to Shags here in the Bay Area, who has led all kinds of great speakers to us and is our club paella master. So you know. All right. Down on Catalina Island, Ernie Rodriguez, the work that he does in Nature in the Classroom is something everybody should know about. In Tucson, Arizona, Dave Andrew. Dave, good to see you, sir. All right. One of the original members of our club, who is now part of the District 7040 Passport Club in Canada, Chris Cochran. Good to see you. And joining us today from Hungary is friend of the club, Victoria Griesmuller. So great to see you. And what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the Q&A. As we always do, I invite our team here to add questions to the chat for me to read or to let me know they have a question that they would like to ask themselves, and that works just fine either way. Dino, let's start with this. So this project is a project that is started effectively because of an experience you had. Is that right? And what we'll do is we'll move from that idea to the ability within the Rotary Club of Cupertino to take an idea and run with it.
So yeah, basically, I was visiting South Africa, visiting the Vulture project area, and I met a Westside representative there and a Rotarian there. And when we travel on these trips, we're actually looking for a need, and that's where I said, "Look, I love this area. I'd like to help. What can I do?" And he said, "I have this problem. I have this problem with these poachers, and I had a process in place to start dealing with it. But during COVID, we lost the funding, and it's stopped. And we'd like to start it up again." And so that's the strength of Rotary, where you can take an idea in the field and actually act on it. So we jointly developed a grant, a project proposal, which is in the draft stage right now. And once we come up with enough funding, then we'll be able to implement.
All right. And Dave asks if local authorities are also involved in protecting from illegal poaching, or is that something that the Rotary Club stepped in to think about for some other reason?
Yeah, no, they are underfunded, and there's the area is just too vast. They just don't have enough people to be able to effectively patrol it, to effectively go out and remove traps. They are out there, but the numbers are just aren't. They just can't focus long enough to be able to do it. They're looking for people with high-powered rifles and that sort of thing. This is a different level of conservation.
Got it. So Victoria asks about the cost. So with any grant project, there's always that question of sustainability, and if part of the work is to fund the training and work of eco rangers, is that something that can continue after the period of the grant, or how are you working with the Rotary Club of Brits,
Rugby
Hardy
sport.
Horse, to make that work?
Two ways. Number one, we by updating the curricula in the high schools, the training will continue without funding because they'll already be part of their curricula. So we believe that we're targeting about 1,000 to 2,000 kids in these 5 high schools that we're partnering with, and so every year we can again train them every year. So we'll be able to do that, let's say over 20 years, and we'll have 20 times 2,000, 40,000 people trained. And hopefully the word gets out and we can create kind of a cultural change. From the snare removal point of view, we're expecting, and we have agreements with the local conservancies to start supporting us. So basically they'll fund to the extent that that's practical, because a lot of them aren't necessarily affluent, but to the extent practical, they'll start funding us to go out and keep the areas clear. So once we kind of demonstrate that, we've removed 1,000 snares, you want to keep them out? Yes, we believe that they'll be excited and want to help with the effort.
So much of this comes around to how the economics of this works, right? So, ecotourism is such an important part of the local economy there. You want kids in high schools to learn skills that will allow them to be able to find jobs in that local economy. Um, is there someone at the partner Rotary Club or the Rotary Club of Cupertino who really oriented you or other members of the team to the economic pieces of making this work?
Oh, yes. This since there was a previous effort related to this snare removal and conservation, we kind of knew what we were up against. We knew we needed five rangers so that one could be a supervisor, stay in the office, two others could be out tracking, two others could be teaching. So the economics were developed in the prior project, and we just built on that in terms of the numbers. In terms of sustainability, that's definitely part of the Rotary Global Grant process. We have to demonstrate that the process, our efforts will continue after the project funds are exhausted.
So the project is strictly from the point of view of protecting life. I mean, there's a lot to be said for snare removal for sure. And I suppose we should mention that the leopard that is in the picture that you showed actually recovered from the
Oh,
wound.
yes,
It
yes.
looked really bad, right? But there were I was very pleased to learn that as you and I were
And
preparing.
she was pregnant.
Oh my, wow. So thinking of the economics, the people who are doing the poaching, what is it that they are specifically trying to do? Like what can you be more specific about the nature of their work so that the audience can better understand what
Kind of their motivation, so to speak.
yeah,
So yeah, basically, there is a syndicated level uh, market for bushmeat, they call it. Bushmeat is random animals caught in the bush, and so this market is illegal. It satisfies a demand in uh, non-local areas. This isn't people taking the animal home and slaughtering it and eating it. This is a different level of poaching where companies are buying, let's say restaurants are buying the materials and the bush meat and selling it, and so that's the market. It's an illegal market, and unfortunately, the local authorities aren't funded well enough to be able to shut it down. I think what we need is grassroots people just looking at the person going out with the snare or seeing the person at the local market and saying, well, what are you doing? Stop. That's I think the only way we're going to change this culture. And the thing is, in this area, people are going to be directly affected by the negative parts of the poaching, where if there are no animals there, people aren't going to go. So once the ecosystem collapses, it'll be well, a sad day, let's say.
So you talked about the lack of resources on the part of local officials. Is the national government, is the South African government involved? Chris asked this question about, the
Yeah, they are. They're just that the amount of money that is available, the amount of GDP doesn't support an area this big. It just doesn't. The numbers don't work out. There's so many other issues for the South African government to worry about that this is kind of at a lower level, even though I believe it should be at a higher level because it promotes employment, employment promotes the economy gets people out of poverty. So um, no, they just don't have the resources to support it
Hmm.
effectively.
Well, there's a lot to be said for the designation from UNESCO of this being a World Heritage Site. Usually, when I think of World Heritage Sites, I'm thinking about like ancient cities or like amazing buildings somewhere. What is it about Mahalisburg that made this worthy of that designation?
It basically is an area where, at least at the very least, humans have originated. Basically, the humanity's origins were from here and then migrated north. There's a lot of fossils in this area. There are a lot of animals for years. There's a lot of diversity with you saw the 440 different bird species. There's so much going on in this one little area just because of its geographical diversity that it's something that the UN decided that they wanted to protect. that's worthy of protection. And the other part of this is that the whole idea that if we can get people to exist in this biosphere where you can have people and animals together, that's the sort of a man in the biosphere kind of project that UNESCO is all about. It's just a very special area, and it's worth protecting for the long run. So that's why.
Fantastic. Well, I quite enjoyed your saying at one point that you were there, you're visiting, you see some of the needs, and you say, "What can I do?" Which I think is a good question for every Rotarian. You know, like how can I help, right? Um, to whom did you ask that question? Was that like people in the Rotary Club of Brits Heart Beesport? Was it another set of people?
Yes, it was. It was the Rotary Club of Brits Hard Sport, and a number of people are also in some sister organizations. WESA. There's some people are in both, but the Rotary Club of Brits Hard Sport is heavily conservation oriented. So we were just I don't know if you call it commiserating or coming up with ideas about how we're going to make the world better at lunch, and that's where these kind of things just come out where you kind of see this and you go, gosh, I want to do something. If I can, I want to do something about it. So
Good brainstorming makes great things happen. That's so
exactly.
I think a lot of Rotarians don't really understand that power of connection and brainstorming, right? If you are a member of any Rotary Club in the world and you are traveling somewhere else or or just traveling across town, you can visit the meetings of Rotary clubs in those places, sit down with people, get to know them, and learn about things that they're doing, learn about the service that they're doing, maybe get involved in some way. You might ask, "What can I do?" Right? There's something very powerful about having a culture of that within a club as well. And I'd like you to talk a little bit about the Rotary Club of Cupertino. That is in the same district that the Rotary E Club of Silicon Valley is based. And one of the things I think about when I think about Rotary Club of Cupertino is the stunning number of projects that seem to be going on, right? What is it that essentially creates that culture within your club?
Yeah. Well, I was attracted to this club because of this culture, first of all. But it's a number of people that are well traveled, that understand the world and understand that are just excited by being able to help different cultures in different parts of the world. I believe, and I think a lot of the people in the club believe that the way you get to world peace is by having the whole world work together and solve each other's problems. So it's an exciting club. You're right. We always have the maximum number of projects going, 10 at any one time. And we also support another, I think, in the range of 40 other grants in the world with either financial or mostly financial contributions. So we are very excited. It's all we think about. It's our main. But then again, we also have fun. So and by having fun, we come up with more ideas. So part of fun is traveling. So part of the Rotary way is that once a grant is established, it's expected that people will visit that grant. And you can visit grants that you're part of course you will, but then you invite other Rotarian groups. So we usually set up a group, like we have a group going down to Guatemala this week, where we have a large grant there for water purification. We invite people from all over the district and all over the country to go. So I've been on trips with Rotarians from all over the United States. And people from other parts of the world have also participated in those trips. So on the South African trip, there were people from Texas, Florida, Oklahoma, United States, California, everywhere. Well, so I loved it. You get to meet more people, and then they have ideas, they have grants they want to support, and then I want to support them too, and they want to support me. So I love it. It's a fun thing.
No, 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 exactly. I mean, that idea of people from around the world working together. I can imagine someone saying, "Oh, that's naive. People don't want to do that." And then then I think of the other quote that is, "People who say something is impossible should get out of the way of people who are actually doing it." Right. So good,
Yeah, that
good.
is one thing though. With Rotary, you can leverage a small contribution, and by everybody chipping in a little bit, almost like in a sense, an example or parallel might be to crowdsourcing, where everybody pitches in a little bit, and all of a sudden you can actually make a difference. So I saw that firsthand with the polio eradication effort, which I'm also part of, and enjoy supporting.
Well, absolutely, absolutely, and I love the messages that are a part of not just this very specific program to protect wildlife and ecotourism in this really special part of the world, but also just the inspiration to be part of cool service projects that you exemplify with this, and thank you. We're going to wind down the recording itself. I'll do some of the standard explanations of that, and then I'll hand it back to Dino for a final word. But for all of you who have joined us for this recording, you might be joining us by watching this on our page at siliconvalleyrotary.com or more easily accessed by going to rotary.cool, right? And what you'll find there is that there is plenty of information in our entire meeting. There's an inspirational video, there's a learn something new video, there's a joke, there's some announcements, there's a meeting greeting, and then it gets to these core pieces, which are these recordings that are these programs. And one of the things that our members tend to quite love about our club is the regular inspiration that they find through the messages and stories that come from people like Dino and folks from all over the planet. You may be encountering this recording as part of our YouTube channel. If you want to learn more about the work that Dino has done, find the links to this. You can find that on our YouTube page. You can find it on our club page as well. You might even be listening to this as a podcast. The Rotary Club of Silicon Valley is the only club in the world that I know of where you can do your weekly meeting while on your commute listening to a podcast, which we think is pretty cool. As we always like to do, we hand it back to our speaker for the final word. So, Dino, as people begin to finish this up, they're watching this video, they are listening to this podcast. What would you like them to have clearly in mind as it ends?
Well, first of all, I would love to come out to your local World Community Service Club and ask for funding. I think we have a good case, and I'll be happy to present any club in the United States. And then finally, because your support will help preserve an irreplaceable reserve and secure a future where nature and communities thrive together.
Excellent. Dino, thank you so much. Everyone, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week.
Thank you.